I don't know if you can hear that, but there's an osprey flying overhead. You know, why do we even care about all of this stuff? And when I say all this stuff, what I'm talking about is herbalism. Like, why are you watching my channel? What are you getting out of it? What's the whole point of learning about the environment and the plants around us? For me, and I think probably a lot of you, it has to do with working on your own health. But I think something even bigger than that, I like to think about this idea of that I can be healthy for a long period of time in my life, enjoying good health to the best of my ability. I recently heard someone say that being mobile and able-bodied is a temporary condition. And I hadn't really ever thought about it that way, but it's true. There's going to come a point in time where all of us will no longer be mobile. And this is so true if you really think about it. I think most of us come to herbalism because we have a health crisis or a health issue that we want to work on. I know some of you might be looking for more one-on-one help if you're just starting your apothecary, or you're learning about herbs, or maybe you're on a health journey, you're stuck, you need help. I offer personal consultations. I'll put a link to that also below. And it's real easy. You can just make an appointment. We can talk for an hour, or I offer more in-depth consultations as well. That's one of my primary goals, is to help people on their health journey. Herbalism really excels at a lot of things, and one of those is maintaining your health. So prevention is the best medicine. And here we are, it's fall. I know that in northern states in the United States, it's already getting much colder. I'm in Northwest Florida, zone 9A, and we're just starting to feel some cold weather. The leaves are just starting to turn. And it's time to be thinking about flu and cold season and getting ready for flu and cold season. So this video is not going to be about what kind of herbs to take once you have the flu or a cold. I'm going to focus more on prevention, because prevention is the key to better health. Some of the things I'm going to talk about today are really basic, but I think it helps to be reminded of them. So in 5-element theory, we're in the season of fall, and the element that corresponds with that is metal. And metal corresponds with the organs, the paired organ system of the lungs and the large intestine. One of the emotions associated with the lungs is grief, crying, sobbing, sadness. And this is a time of year when we're really reflecting and looking inward, and we're going into a season with a lot of holidays, and this can be a very sad time for people. People do start to naturally hibernate and withdraw for the winter season. But obviously, because the lung, I think it's just palm fronds blowing around over there, but we do have eagles and osprey on the property, and I'm always keeping an eye out for them. As the weather starts to shift, one of the things that I like to do is start changing my wardrobe. That's the easiest thing you can do. And because I live in Florida, where it's always sunny and hot, and it is usually hot except for 2 or 3 months out of the year, I usually get teased about my hat, my scarf, my vest. I have very warm clothing that I like to wear. This is one of the best things you can do for flu and cold prevention, is to cover up. Primarily covering the neck and keeping cold drafts off the neck. And there's this idea in Chinese herbalism that the pathogens, they enter through the nape of the neck, evil pathogens. And it's just very simple. Just dress appropriately for the season. And that also means put on some warm socks, because even though we do want to practice grounding and earthing and connecting with the earth, we also want to protect ourselves from the elements. I know there's probably some Imhoff fans out there that are like, no, you need to condition the body. And yes, you do. There is a place and a time for that as well. Most people aren't prepared for taking ice cold plunge baths. But yes, we do want to condition the body so that we can withstand a variety of elements and change with the seasons. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. But we're talking about prevention, we're talking about the general population. Most people need to protect themselves from the cold elements. You want to think about your diet too and move away from, things that we were eating in the summertime that were nice and cooling foods and start thinking about warming foods. So we're looking at stews, beef, if you eat meat, root vegetables, potatoes, beans, some very common porridge or stews that you can make. There's congee or khichdi. These are both warm rice and bean mixtures made with different herbs as well. Definitely heavier, dense, nutritious foods. We're going to switch from cold drinks, ice cream, cold smoothies, and start drinking warm drinks. So I don't like to drink ice cold drinks anyway throughout the year. It really does slow down your digestion, but especially this time of year, you really want to start thinking about hot drinks, warm teas, even just drinking a glass of warm water. And that will help keep the fires of the spleen and the stomach and the digestion moving and also help with the bowels. So the large intestine, which is the paired organ to the lung, it's really important to keep all these things moving and digesting and fighting off pathogens throughout this time of the year. I hope that y'all like the change of scenery. This is the bay behind me. And I see there's a whole bunch of camphor weed that I really need to get out here and harvest before the end of the season. Back to 5 element theory. So we're in the season of fall. The element is metal. The emotion is grief. The spirit of the element, oh my gosh, the osprey is back. Okay, I'm going to get a video. Oh, there's 2 of them. That's nice. That's pretty cool. He's totally checking me out. I'm in his territory right here. All right, so the element of metal. The color is white. The emotion is grief. The paired organs are the lung and the large intestine. What else? The taste is spicy, pungent. And that kind of gives you a clue as to what kind of foods you want to be eating. Warm, spicy foods. So another great way you can protect yourself is to protect what's called the Wei Qi. You can think of the Wei Qi as this kind of protective armor that either is on the outside of the skin or just underneath of the skin, and it's protecting your whole body. There's a famous formula in traditional Chinese herbalism called Jade Screen. It only has 3 herbs in it. It's been used for hundreds of years. This is one formula you could start taking this time of year to help with prevention of flu and cold. And what it does is called a Jade Screen, and it actually acts as a protector or a screen for the Wei Qi to not allow pathogens to come into the body. This may sound very woo-woo to you, and it is a little bit. You can think of traditional Chinese herbalism has been around for thousands of years, and it's based on empirical evidence. And now science does actually show that a lot of these herbs do the things that they were intended to do. Like some of the herbs, one of the herbs in this formula actually does help boost the immune system. And that primary herb is astragalus or Wei Qi. So if you wanted to just think about single herbs that you could take this time of year, astragalus would be a really good herb. Another herb you could think about would be ginseng. Reishi mushrooms might be something else you'd consider. we want to look at Western herbs, maybe oat straw or nettle. These would be some nice warm infusions you can make that are loaded with vitamins and minerals and things that are just going to help boost the immune system. In Western herbalism, we can look at things like fire cider or elderberry syrup as preventatives. This video is mostly about prevention, and I just wanted to introduce the element of metal to you and 5-element theory. I have some other videos about 5-element theory. I'll link to those here. And also, if you want to go the next step in terms of, well, what if you do have something that has affected your health in regards to your lungs? What kind of herbs are you going to look at then? In the previous video, I talked about an herb called rabbit tobacco, and I'll link to that as well. And also mullein, that's another herb you could take a look at. In Chinese herbalism, we could look at Ophiopogon, Maimonding, Mahuang, which is ephedra, which is not legal in this country. There is, you could take a look at Da Wang, which is rhubarb root. That would be for the bowels. Oh, one of my favorite herbs too, cinnamon twig, Gui Zhi. This might be another herb. I like to put that in my elderberry syrup. So yeah, prevention is the best medicine. So wear your scarves, put your hat on, put on your socks, start drinking some nice warm teas. Take care, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.